Mr. AI here, and I'm glad to say that we are back once again. I would like to document the date and time for this discussion. Date 10/11/25. Time 4:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, I would like to welcome you to another discussion, and I hope you enjoy this journey with me as much as I do. Now, I'm going to get on a topic of perfection. Perfection seems to be something that even myself has become limited by in the past with trying to maneuver out through life. I don't think that when we do something, we just let that show the exact way that we did it out into the world and for others to truly see. Now, this could be creation, um, identity, personality, and really just who you are, the individual you, the one that is different from everyone else. Everyone in the world is completely unique, innately. But with trying to include things like the topic of perfection, it seems to take that uniqueness out quite a bit. Now, there's definitely some singularities that still resonate with each individual, but it's not really the full image that's being expressed. It's hidden. And I think even in life, every one of us has found ourselves hiding parts of ourselves, tucked away from world's view. And I think that that probably has a lot to do with our society wanting to fit in or be liked, and mainly just not having the acceptance of their true selves out through the world. And whether they find that they're able to be accepted or not in whatever specific direction you were trying to find acceptance in, it seems that we almost put out the flame before the campfire is actually even lit. We come to illusion, I would say, that we already know what the outcome is going to be. Amongst probably the word fear resonating within that situation as well. But that is the line that I mean we are drawing with things like integrating perfection into our lives. We're not expressing our true and whole selves for everyone to see, no matter the good with the bad. And with perfection being the topic that I'm touching on currently, it's kind of in the same way us only wanting the good to show. We don't want people to see the bad. But see, understanding that bad is a part of the equation, the unwanted, the unpopular, of making you who you are and the good things that you do have to show. Like trying to hide failure, or trying to hide the ugly. And I really do think it just has a lot to do with fear. Fear of being accepted. The world won't accept the bad that I have showing. And we can even think about it in categories of like makeup, or defensiveness and war, even, and fighting, things like that. We have the difficulties of trying to express what is actually there, because in our minds, without it ever actually playing out in life, to experience the proof of what actually happens when you do that, we've already come to the conclusion that whatever it is that we're hiding, they're not going to like. We'll be judged. We'll be crucified, in some sense. So then who is it that we're seeing? Who am I talking to? Who's in front of me? It could be whatever name that you identify yourself as. But who is that? Who is that? Because if you don't reflect your whole self, and I see the whole image, who is it that you're showing me? It's more of a deceptional kind of process. And I don't even think that it's intentional at some lengths of trying to influence deception as a bad thing. It's more that we're trying to implicate deception for safety reasons on ourselves. And that there's no real confirmation of what's going to happen if you express that true self. the fact that we do this is that we're just trying to play it safe. Then sorry. Try not to get hurt. Try to have integrity within holding the things that you're not sure how the world is going to take it. And you don't want to expose those parts of yourself to the possibility of being in a humiliation type of situation or shame. But we all know that that is the true self. We are not perfect. We all have skeletons in the closet that we don't want to be revealed. There isn't perfection in human beings. So why do we try to implicate perfection into ourselves as human beings? You're not being the human being that you're meant to be, or that you even are. See, this is something that I, personally, have reflected a lot on. I spent a lot of time thinking about why is it that when I want to do something, or want to say something, or I want to express a part of myself that maybe I want to share, that I find myself limited to do so, practically paralyzed in some categories, out of fear of what may happen. And what I've come to find time and time again in my own experiences is that without doing those things, and especially withholding that true self in me and displaying something that is not me, or a cleaned up, perfected version of me that I let others view in the world, I show what I choose to show, puts me in a situation to where I take who I actually am and I stick it in a box. Because once you start doing that to yourself, I found that other things come into play when you're starting to create a character that's make-believe. It's not who you are. It's not the truth. And the things that you start hiding within yourself and start building this non-fictional character, you start adapting and taking in the structure of what we believe is now how we should go about trying to build that character. So we become very susceptible to taking in things as truth for ourselves that is displayed out through society of how to be, how to think, how to look, how to act, amongst many other levels. And the more that you put yourself, your true self, in a box, the more the fictional character that you live out every day becomes the character that you start actually living. And you start taking this characterized imagery as who you actually are. So then you start creating the characterized identity and personality into being who and what you need to be. You become what you focus on the most. And if your true self is tucked away in a box, hidden away somewhere, the less time you're experiencing and focusing on that true self, and the more time you focus on this character that you have been building. And that character becomes more introduced into who it is that you live every day. And it can even become who you start living when no one's around to be deceiving what you're showing the world. You're starting to deceive yourself. That's who you act like when you're alone. You don't go and pull the true self out of the box when everyone leaves. Eventually you start worrying more about this character that you have to hold up to with all the deception, and you stop grabbing that box with your true self in. And you can see how this creates the bridge of really losing yourself and who you are. And I think that since that is so glamorized and familiar in today's society, it's one of the main reasons why most of us have no idea who we are, who our true selves are. Because not only do we put our true selves in a box and tuck it away, since it's been so long since we've pulled that box out, we've completely forgotten where we put it. It's like burying in your backyard and then forgetting where you've buried it. And once you start losing so much of that and the connection with what self you put in that box, you simply just become whatever it is that you have created yourself to be. And see, thankfully in my life, I've went through a lot of these motions. And I've also questioned the times where I sit and I want to do something that I want to do, or show the world who I want to be. And I stopped myself from doing so, and created that deceptive character instead. And I felt shame for it. I felt lack for it. And through time and time again, I finally just come to the decision that whoever I put in that box, it's a part of me. And without having that part of me, I'm unwhole. And going through life unwhole is something that I was physically feeling the detachment of almost daily. And I just made the decision that no matter if this fictional character I have created makes other people accept and like me in the world, living this fictional character is making me not accept me and like me for myself. And I decided to pull that box out, grab that true self of mine out of that box, and put it back in to the space that was unwhole. And I decided that no matter what comes with showing my real self, at least when I go to bed, I don't feel that hole anymore. And truly, I heard something once, some information that hit me really deep. If you are liked by everyone, which is something that the majority of us all seem to try to do, we would be the fakest person alive, because we would be so embedded into that character that if everyone liked us, We would not be ourselves at all. Diversity is just an equation that is needed for the math. You have to have the two different sides. And I'm not even sure if you could be liked by everyone. But if that situation did implicate itself to where everyone liked you, you would be the fakest and most furthest away from who you are and who the world knows you are than you could ever possibly get. And I was tired of the way that I felt. So not only did I finally make the decision and have the courage to take myself out of that box and finally fill that hole that I've had within me back up with what belongs there, I took that box that I made to house my true self in, and I threw that box away. So that I would never have the ability, have the choice to put who I am back into that box again. And I never could have made a better decision. And I come to realize over a period of time that the people that were not accepting who I actually am were people that were not even doing the same thing. The people that I'm staring at, not accepting. Me showing my full self for the world to see. Throwing away the box. Ripping the curtains down. And it is all displayed on stage. The person that I am seeing in front of me do these acts of non-acceptance is somebody that I don't even know physically who they are. Because they have conformed themselves into that same box. How am I going to take judgment as proof of fact towards me being fully open in view from somebody that has characterized themselves so much that I don't know who is standing in front of me? More into that, I might not even feel they know who is standing in front of me. And until I see somebody that is doing the same thing that I'm doing, that at least is an authentic one of themselves, there isn't a chance in the world that I will even listen to what they have to say. Which is why all of the noise around me in my life, I do not listen to any of it. I am completely in silence. And it has resonated from me pulling myself out of that box. It does not matter who it is that you feel I should be. What matters is who it is that I feel I should be. And if you take this understanding and try to resonate it with the videos you see online, the expectations people feel they have to uphold, jobs, smiles. You actually have no idea who it is that is sitting in front of you on any level at all. And the fact that they probably have no idea who it is that is sitting in front of you means the utmost certainty that you definitely have no idea who it is that is sitting in front of you. If they don't know, you definitely aren't going to know ever. And that doesn't only sadden me for other individuals that live this way, it's a bit frightening. One, that they're doing that. And two, that we believe them. Who's in your house right now? Who did you marry? Your friend for 20 years. Who is he? Because I almost guarantee that you don't know. And sadly, one day you may wake up and discover who he actually is. And it may just be a side of him or them that they don't even know. There's not a lot of individuals in the world that do live by themselves, projecting their true selves openly and outwardly for the world to see. Which is why I have found it rather a task to surround myself with any individuals which is why the circle is so small in my life. I only find people that resonate with who I want to be. So in your life, I ask you to please only find individuals that are like you. Stop hanging out, being around, socializing, these terms, with people that are not providing you with anything. With people that see something wrong in your life and they simply don't tell you. With people that are not doing things in life that you are doing or want to be doing in the future. The people that you surround yourself with on a daily have to be characters that build you to where you are trying to go. For an example, if in your life you want to become somebody that has money or that structures professionalism in their life, or whatever the topic may be, do not surround yourself with one, people that do not have the same goals as you to make money or want to come off in a professional manner. And two, do not crowd yourself with people that are not making the money that you would like to make, or that are the representation of the professionalism that you are trying to accustom into your own life. Because it is not going to excel you in any manner at all. It is actually preventing you from rising to whatever it is that you want to become. Now, I'm not saying that you need people to excel to your goal. What I'm saying is that the people that are around you, two minds are greater than one. They have to be in a position to where they are progressing you towards the same type of fundamental topic, goal, when you are around them. Ask yourself, and take this into your own life, the people that you have around you, when you leave their presence after arriving, at the end of that experience with them that day, are you better after leaving as a person with progress in life than you were before you experienced the presence of that person? Because if not, you are in the wrong crowd. You can go and hang out with somebody that you care about, that you may even enjoy experiencing their presence around you at said given time. But if you are not benefiting from the experience that you are having with that person in some manner of the aspects out through life, your life, a lot of the times you will find yourself straying away from that person because your goals do not align. You need to find company that have the same aligned goals. If you are around someone that smokes cigarettes, for a brief example, and you are trying to stop smoking cigarettes, the more you hang out with that person, the harder it will be to avoid smoking cigarettes. The less that you hang out with that person, the easier it is going to be avoiding smoking cigarettes. And it's just plain 1 + 1 = 2 types of situations there, that it's obvious that the people that are doing things that you don't want to be doing, or implicating things in their life that you do not want implicated in your life, whether ever or anymore, it is going to create pushback, elevating yourself to where you want to be or to not be doing those things. And by hanging out with these people, surrounding yourself with these types of individuals, is not helping you by any means. Now, it does not mean that you would strictly fall in like the example I've given of somebody that now has to smoke or is smoking because of these other individuals smoking and you are around them. But if your goals do not align with the goals that they have and are pursuing in life, it is going to make the climb to where you want to be so much harder than it needs to be, than ultimately it could have been if you just aligned yourself with the company of ones that do not smoke cigarettes in that example. Understanding this, understanding who you are by living your true self, aligns you with the goals that are based off of who you are and not the fictional character that you create because it is what society would like you to be. Putting yourself around the people that have the same type of goals aligned. I would even say people that are doing those goals better than you. It is when now the student is capable of finding a teacher. It's where you put yourself in a direction that people are pushing you to do said thing that they resonate in their life, that you would like to resonate in your life. And by having these individuals around, the same code that they are structuring in their life is what they would help you to push to be in any aspect. But it has to be for things that are benefiting you, actually in life, moving forward on a good scale. Because if I smoke cigarettes, and this individual over here smokes cigarettes, we may be having the same action of smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is not good for you. So what you have done is found a crowd of individuals that may be partaking in the same topics that you do in life, but it is not elevating you for growth in the right direction. And this even lies very much in what I touched on earlier. With perfection. And that due to society implicating perfection so much out through their lives, they create characters that are not their true selves. And if you find yourself finally pulling the true self of yourself out of that metaphorical box I had described, placing yourself around the individuals that are not doing the same thing would be counterproductive to what you are trying to achieve. I thankfully have mapped out enough of visually observing this information to where I want my true self to be what I live daily. Therefore, I live for me, not others. And what I ask you to consider taking into your own life experience is that you may find the will to do the same for yourselves. It is not hard for a tree to be a tree, but it is extremely difficult for a tree to be a bush. Be a tree. Be that tree. Be a tree being a tree. And if you found yourself being a bush, and you do not prefer the feelings of being a bush, something you are not meant to be, I invite you to open up that box that has been tucked away for so many continuous decisions out through life, and place that true self back in its rightful spot that has been missing and not whole out through this time. And embark on the journey to the center of yourself. Perfection is something I would say is unachievable. And with trying to achieve an unachievable task, it is only going to leave you in the feeling of lack. Please give yourself the ability to have the feeling of abundance. Be yourself and take perfection and put that in that said box. And I invite you to take that box and throw it in the trash. And I hope that out through the experience of this conversation, you have come to possibly realize a few sections of your life that may need to go into that said box. So, with that, this is our discussion. I appreciate you listening and embarking this journey that we have now voyaged. This is Mr. AI signing off, and I hope to see you in the next one.